World Extermination Radio with your hosts, John Vail and Tanner West.
Okay, welcome to World Extermination Radio. I'm your host, John Foudy Vail, and my co-host, Tanner Splatterhouse West.
What's up?
And as you know, we live in this dystopian universe where all first-person shooters have devolved into these multiplayer, class-based modern warfare shooters with real short, movie-like campaigns to the point where the only game left worth playing is Doom. But there is a ray of sunshine, a game we've been introduced recently called Wrack, and we have the creator with us today, Brad Carney.
Hey guys.
How's it going, Brad?
It's going great. Thrilled to be here.
That's good, man. I just
Nice.
I just played a little bit of Wrack recently, and man, it is so much fun.
Oh, thanks. I mean, that's really something that we've been striving for. It's just, we want a game that's, it knows it's a game, and it's just really fun to play. And just like you said in the intro, a lot of that's kind of been lacking lately.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's really been, part of the reason for setting out to go and do this.
Yeah, I love the speed. It's so fast.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
characters, the character's he's like a race car, man. I'm just running and jumping all over the place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was one of the things I love so much about Doom, and
Definitely.
yeah, and it kind of went away when Quake came out. I was kind of sad about that, and that's something I really wanted to bring back, and I think it really works well. I was pretty worried that with how slow people move in shooters now, that people were gonna have a big issue with the speed, it's way too fast, this is crazy.
Yeah.
but I mean, I've been pleasantly surprised. I mean, most people have been pretty okay with it, so I'm pretty encouraged by that.
Yeah, that's good. I really like it too. It's I mean, I just love how. I mean, once I got to level 3 or so, I just wanted to. I just got so reckless and started jumping on top of enemies and stuff just to see what I could do. And, there is so much you can do. There's so many all kinds of all these little jumping puzzles, and there's just these long. And you would think you'd be intimidated by these long jumps that you have to make, but you have a lot of air control too.
Yeah. That's and just real quick, pretty much at the very beginning of the game, you have to make this long jump. It's that wouldn't be possible in any other kind of game, but
right.
In a game where your walking speed is 107 miles an hour, it's I mean, clearing a long jump like that is no problem. But yeah, I mean, stuff the jump pads and Quake 3. I mean, I really love stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think more of it's going to be coming later, but you're going to be spending some time in the air in this game, so having some kind of control over your character, even while you're off the ground, I think is pretty critical for that. But I mean, there have been some platformers in the past where you don't have any air control, Castlevania.
Yeah.
But I don't really like that all that much. So
Yeah.
It's you feel so helpless when you're off the ground.
Yeah.
That's not a feeling I want people to have. So
It's also with the little elements like the player being very fast and being able to control your motion in the air, that just adds to the fun factor. It's not some juiced up, I want to make this as realistic as possible. It's like you said, it's a game and your main objective is to make it fun. And I think I've been playing it lately as well, and I think it really works, and it is a lot of fun.
yeah, it's an arcade style game, so it's
Exactly.
it's bright and colorful. It's trying to be fun. And it just I mean, from the speed you move at, the amount of monsters that are on the screen, the projectile dodging, and even the art style, it all kind of.
Yeah.
It all kind of fits into that whole kind of arcade kind of action vibe the game gives off.
Yeah, man, I love when you walk into a room and there's just this huge acid pit, just glowing green ooze. Games don't even have green ooze anymore.
Yeah, they don't. It's they're more concerned about realistic looking liquid, I think, and I think when we we're not constrained by trying to make it look real necessarily. That gives us a lot more freedom to open things up. And like the same thing goes for like the art style. Like the fact that like objects are cel shaded and have like thick black outlines. Like I mean that's not realistic at all.
Yeah.
but it looks good, and it works for everything else in the game. So
yeah,
I did want to comment on that. Actually, way years ago I played. I don't know if you guys are familiar. I know John is. But the game 13.
Yeah.
Those
looking
graphics,
at it on my shelf right now.
Dude, I like when I first played that game, I was just like, these are the coolest fucking graphics ever made. Like like that comic book cartoony style, like that just makes like just like looking at those graphics while you're playing just makes it like 10 times more exciting and 10 times more fun to play. To me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean like 13 is one of the games that it kind of inspired this kind of look that Wrack has. It was I mean, we wanted to do something, that looked a lot more interesting, than what's kind of currently out there. I mean, there's just so many like brown photorealistic games. It's like we really wanted to do something different. And I mean, games like 13 and like more recently like Borderlands. Yeah, they kind of showed what kind of cool things are possible. If you're willing to, explore those and do those kinds of things. And so I mean, it kind of started to, the cel shading didn't go in until like a few years ago, but I'm very pleased with the results.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you. But yeah, it was a lot of work to get it to look right too. Like we kind of started off with like the way Borderlands does it. It's like everything kind of has like a fixed width outline around it. So basically what that means is like it doesn't like grow and shrink as you get further and closer from the object. So it's like you like back away from something and then it just kind of ends up as like a black blob because like the lines don't shrink on it. But I mean the way it is in Wrack, and by the way, like the way the weapons in Wrack are outlined, like the first person weapon, like it's done with that method. But then like the actual like objects in the map, like it's actually. It's like the object's actually like rendered twice and like inside out and all black and blah blah blah. But anyway, but it's actually like the outlines actually grow and shrink as you back away and come closer to an enemy or placed object or whatever. So it's a more exact. It's more correct. And it's a little more expensive because you gotta render the model like another time, but to me, it seems to be well worth it.
Yeah.
Is that resource intensive?
It's a little bit more than the other method, but it seems like as long as you're playing Wrack on like the Target PC, which sadly is not a. What you got off of eBay, John?
My $50.
$50
single core PC that is like used and refurbished and. It only runs Doom, and I think I can run Minesweeper on it too.
No source ports. But yeah, like it hasn't, like the computer I'm running, like it's like several years old now. It's like I have a Radeon 4850, which that's kind of
bad. That's not a bad card though.
No. I tried getting a new one recently, and it was so little of an upgrade that I took it back, but it's as long as you have a PC that's somewhat decent, like it seems to run just fine. So I've really worked my ass off optimizing it. So and that's important because I really want there to be these rooms with like tons of monsters and these big fights. And it's like to pull that off, like you need to be able to render like lots of monsters at the same time and not have it and not have your computer slow to a crawl. So
yeah, I had no problems with slowdowns when I played it. I played it on my brother's computer, and he likes the game a lot too. I just let him get a copy of it too.
Awesome.
Thanks for sharing that with us too, by the way.
Hey, no problem.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm just happy to. I knew it'd be up your alley, John, and Tanner. Sorry, I didn't know much before this, but no, it seemed like it would be something that would be up your alley. So I just kind of wanted you to.
Yeah, I wanted to. I felt bad taking it for free, so I left you a donation, $60. I don't know. I mean,
which, by the way, is enough for like 6 copies of the game. So I mean, you could give it to a few more people. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't make a whole lot of money, so it's not a whole lot of money. I mean, maybe you could. Maybe you could get like a pair of secondhand Dr. Dre Beats headphones or something with it. I don't know. I don't care what you do with it, but I felt.
Well,
like
yeah. I mean, we're kind of in the middle of like the calm before the storm right now. We're kind of keeping quiet until like this beta is all done and out there. So I'm just kind of trying to hold on to every last penny until we get that version out there and hopefully make some money. So.
Yeah, well, you keep saying, wait, who else is working on this with you? You got a big crew?
Well, let's see here. I mean, probably the guy who the Doom crew is gonna know the most is Bobby Prince, who
right.
The guy who did the music and sound for Doom is also doing it for this. And then we got our texture artist. His name is Remco Ernst, and he's from the Netherlands. And he's the guy who does like all the textures and everything. And he just came here for a month to visit.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we went to QuakeCon together and got a lot of stuff done. Like the majority of the work on that first level that you guys play was done while he was here. He was here. What was it, like middle of July to middle of August? So he just left a couple of weeks ago. But we got a lot done while I was here, and then we got a guy who's doing like the models and animations, and he lives in Dallas. And then there's another guy who's not quite as involved on a regular basis, but he did like the character designs and some of those storyboard panels, which only like one is like really done, but I mean more is coming, and then he's working on the box art right now, and it's looking pretty sweet.
Cool.
Nice. Can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait either. But it's really just like a really small handful of people, working on this, and then I've done pretty much everything else, which is entirely too much. But I mean, for a long time, I tried to find people to do the levels for this, but. I think it's the editor is so new, it's so different, and I think a lot of people were they I don't know, I think a lot of people might have been a little scared off by that.
Yeah,
but
I
think in the future when like people start doing some mods and maps and stuff with the editor, and people are a lot more familiar with it. There is more community involvement. There is more of a fleshed out wiki on it than I think people will I don't know, there should be some people in the future who want to do maybe want a map for us.
Yeah, I've seen some videos of like of like the Wrack editor in progress, and it actually doesn't look a whole lot different than Doom Builder.
Yeah, it's really not. I mean, it's pretty heavily inspired by Doom Builder. Like the way you like outline faces, like click, 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 and like a circular kind of pattern or whatever you want for your sector.
Yeah.
Like I mean, that's the same way you make faces in this. So yeah, it's like, so if I want to make like a little like pentagon floor or something, you just right click, click 4 other times, and then or I guess 5 times, but
yeah.
Yeah, and then boom, you have your shape.
That's cool that you provide the editor with it too, because like that's like that's one of the biggest selling points for me in Doom. Well, besides the game itself, but also just because of the endless amount of Doom content there is out there to download.
Yeah, I think that along with the multiplayer is like just a huge reason why Doom is still so incredibly popular today. Yeah, I mean the stuff people are still doing like to this day it's just like mind blowing.
Yeah.
That, like almost 20 years later, like I mean just there's still like incredibly high quality content that the community is putting out.
Yeah,
for
right.
this game, and it's awesome. I mean, that's something I definitely want to have happen with Wrack, and that's part of why the editor comes with it, because like I'm serious. Like, guys, I want you to make maps seriously. Like,
yeah,
I feel like I don't really know the more modern games, but I know like a lot of the games that I've seen anyway, and this is just from my experience. I like I said, I don't know the whole spectrum, but I know like a lot of like the early to mid and late 2000s, a lot of like first person shooters did come with the editors. I really don't know how it is these days though.
I think games have backed off of modding for the most part, I think.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. I mean, there are some games that are like modder friendly, but for the most part, the game developers don't really want to extend the game's life.
Yeah, I mean, don't see a lot of Call of Duty mods out there.
That's because they want to make a new one and make you go buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has like one new gun and a new player class and.
Yeah.
A new skin.
Same thing with like Madden 13 versus Madden 14.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
what the fuck? What is the difference? Like.
How different can you make football?
A few players retired, then a few more were drafted. So that. Yeah. But yeah, it's I guess you see it with some like indie games. I like Torchlight. Had a big editor. But I mean that's something that's great about us being an indie. It's like we don't have some publishers saying like, we don't want to extend the game's life. You don't have an editor. We don't want to devalue our future expansion packs or whatever.
I love that. It's really inspiring. I like that you kind of like make your own rules as you're doing it, because I've always you're kind of doing what I've always wanted to do, really. It's just make a game that I want to do whatever the hell I want, and I don't want anybody to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, not to say that's exactly what you're doing, but I mean, I really want to see Wrack succeed for that reason, because it is something that's it's so different, it's so out there, it's its own thing. It's because like it's easy to compare this game like to Doom, but like when you're watching it. But I'm playing it for the first time, and I know it's not Doom. It's something totally different. Even though it's inspired by it, but it is its own thing. And,
well, just to go back real quick to what you're saying about it, kind of us doing our own thing. I mean, yeah, we are doing that to an extent, but at the same time, we are trying to listen to feedback and all that. Well, like kind of what we're trying to do is we're trying to do as much of what we want to do as can still be successful. So.
Yeah.
It's so we want to compromise our vision as little as possible while hopefully still being able to do this and make games in the future. But then like to your second point, I mean kind of what I was thinking before the show was it's like I think a lot of people like they kind of look at Doom, like the original Doom, two ways. Like first there's like the whole like scary aspect, like ooh, it's dark and scary, there's demons, there's monsters, they come out of nowhere, and then there's like the whole like action, like arcade part of it. It's like you run like super fast and you take on rooms full of monsters and dodge projectiles whizzing by your head and all that stuff. And I think Doom 3 kind of took the former aspect of that and like just kind of went full steam with that. Like the whole kind of scary aspect of it. And then Wrack took the latter aspect of that. It's just it's like all the like arcade style elements of Doom, and it's just kind of gone like full speed with that. And then it's added like a whole ton more to that. Like there's like a kill chain system, and there's bosses.
Yeah, the points and the lives and all that stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, it definitely is. Makes it a lot more arcadey. And the time attack mode too. I like that a lot. That's like a speed running feature built in.
Yeah, like I think that's gonna be like just huge when this is all done out there and on Steam, which I'm pretty confident ought to happen now. We're finally in the top 100, but
nice.
First they just greenlit 100 games, so. So anyway, but yeah, it's What's really cool about that time attack leaderboard system is it's like when you play through a map and like you get a new best time. It not only sends your time to the leaderboard, but it sends your replay as well. So
nice.
People can just like browse through like the leaderboard and like you just click on like I don't know like your friend's best time or like the best overall time, and then it'll download the replay and then just play it for you. So like if someone does like something that's like amazing, like it's like how did he get that time? Oh
I know,
my God.
I'm imagining that right now. Like the
this
third
guy must
level
have
in
been
45
cheating.
seconds. What?
Yeah.
And you
But
can
you can
watch
just
it
download
through.
that
That's
replay
awesome.
and watch it, and you can see like what they did. In the alpha that's out there right now, like there's like on the old first level, like people did some like pretty insane things to get some great times. You know, it's like jumping off of. It's like I mean the level's kind of like outdoors, so it's like they'd like jump like onto the little rails and. And then, like they'd skip like whole parts of the level, like all legally, and it's pretty insane. I think the best one was like level 2. Like there was a part where there's a glitch in it right now where let's just say like slopes are a little glitchy right now. But anyway, like there's this part. It's like this little like hole they fall into, and like if they press against the wall a certain way, it glitches them through the map. and then they just like fall all the way like they fall to like their position like loops back to the top, and then they fall like through the top of the level like right at the exit, and then just
What the hell?
yeah, it's insane. But you know.
That's hilarious.
That's part of why I'm like so happy the system's in there. So you get to see like all kinds of crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, that is a
You're gonna
great
have to
idea.
leave in there just so people can exploit it.
Yeah. I've thought about taking it out, and it's even if I knew how to fix it, and I'm not sure I do, I'm kind of like I'm okay with that. It's like in addition to like Doom and shooters, like I play a lot of fighting games, and a lot of those are just kind of like taking advantage of just complete oversights by the developers, like taking advantage of bugs and just completely overpowered characters. So I mean, that's kind of where I come from. So it's like when I see something, someone exploiting something like that in Wrack, I'm kind of like, I respect that. So it's like that's not a bug, that's a feature. So but I'm hopeful that like score attack will take off in the same way too. Like I mean this chain system, like it's way more flexible than it was in the alpha. So like just getting these long chains, figuring out creative ways to kind of string all these kills together. There's a lot more flexibility and room for creativity in this version. So I think people are going to do a lot of crazy stuff to get high scores and everything. I'm really hopeful that the score attack takes off later too.
That's cool.
I wanted to ask you a question actually. I know it might be a little bit off
Why we're here,
topic.
right?
Yeah, but it might be a little off topic at this point. But
All right.
I was just wondering about the in Doom you start with the pistol. You eventually get that in Wrack, but you start with the katana. Where did you get that from? That really reminded me of Shadow Warrior, and I was wondering like if that was inspired by that, or where did you come up with that idea?
I think probably more than anything, that was a Zidu mod, Demon Eclipse. Like are you guys familiar with that at all?
I've heard of
No.
Arians made it. But anyway, I mean, really, my big thing was that I wanted like melee to actually be good in this game. Like I actually wanted to like have like the melee weapon be like good and useful and not like go away as soon as you got something that fires bullets. So it's I mean just the idea of having like a big cool sword. It was kind of something I wanted, and like I haven't played the original Shadow Warrior. I obviously haven't played the new one, even though because it's not out yet. But they did have it at QuakeCon, but I was occupied with other things. But But it's like I kind of what I kind of wanted was like something where it's like you swing it and then like it's really powerful and effective, but if you miss with it or like you don't kill someone, like there's this like long recoil, so you're like, oh shit, like if you miss with something while like other monsters are coming at you. And so I mean that's really where kind of the general idea came from. It underwent like a couple of different designs. Like at first it looked like At first, it basically looked like a Swiss Army sword. It was like this like long thing with like multiple blades all coming out of like this base thing, and like the way it was kind of shaped too, it had like this like rod at the end of it, so it kind of looked like a fishing pole sword. It was interesting, but then it got redone into the current design, and definitely like it. It's definitely way better than the other one, and I'm pretty pleased with it. It's in the logo. It's going to be featured pretty prominently in the box art. So
one of the questions I had when I was playing it, like the thing that really sets it apart from other games is obviously the speed. Mm-hmm. I just love running around and stuff, and in some of the levels, I thought it'd be, well, I just wanted to ask what you thought about this. I thought it'd be cool if you could like jump off of walls, like do some like crazy parkour, like free running shit, like like double jumping and like in Contra when they have like low hanging bars or like grooves in the ceiling, you can like climb on them,
right,
cool stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought like because the player is just so fast. I wanted to see like more focus on like, I mean I've only got to like the third level, so I haven't really seen much. But I'd like to see more of like the, just like all kind of like crazy like platforming, like bouncing off of walls and all kinds of stuff, and all these crazy. And it would be cool to especially like in combination with the sword weapon. To just like do these crazy weapons, like they do these crazy moves where you like jump off a wall and land behind a monster and slash them from behind.
Right.
Weird stuff like that. Have you considered anything like that?
Well, I mean, there are a couple of little places where you can drop down and stealthily slash the monsters in front of you. You kind of have to be careful because it's first person. So like, I mean, something like the bars example you gave. Like if you're controlling your character's movement, like your arms are above you, and that's what's making you stick to the ceiling and all that. You have to be careful because like it's first person, so you can't see your arms. And it's there would be a bit of a disconnect between like how you're moving forward or backwards or whatever.
What's holding me up?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think the same kind of goes for like the wall, like jumping off the wall. It's like the whole thing is like it's like how do you manage like what you can actually see that's controlling where your character's going versus and then I mean it's like the camera can get too like disoriented and
I guess that makes sense.
I mean there's a bunch of issues like that. And I mean that's honestly that's why we've gone largely away from any kind of like mandatory platforming. It's like there's a couple of jumps you have to make, but usually they don't kill you if you don't make it. And then there's like optional stuff you can go for, which involves a little bit more. More experience, more skill. There's more danger involved. But I will say though that there is some other stuff coming to that effect. Let's just say episode 2 is gravity themed. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then I've got some stuff I want to do in Wrack 2, which involves double jumping. So.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff along that lines that I want to do, but it's just you just got to be really careful because it's first person. I mean that's the biggest challenge in any kind of like platforming or parkouring or anything.
Yeah.
parkouring.
Yeah. And I mean,
cool.
one of their developers, Remco, like he was telling me like Serious Sam, it has like parkour secrets, or it's like you have to like go like jump on stuff. It's like you'll see something, then you got to like jump on stuff and jump across pits or whatever to go get it. I must have been bad at the game because I didn't see too many of those.
Yeah, I didn't find any of the secrets in Serious Sam.
Yeah.
But I really like that aspect of Wrack though, because you have so much because the player is so fast and you have a lot of air control stuff too. So it's like it's not even really that hard for platforming. But I don't know. That's
yeah.
just,
I definitely want to make it as fair as possible.
yeah.
It's like you have so much control over your body that it's like if you fall in a pit and die, like it's your fault. It's not.
Yeah.
The engine or bad controls got to you. Hopefully, there's a couple little bugs, but they don't seem to be too prevalent.
Falling through ceilings.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Pretty much anything involving slopes is a little suspect right now. But
Hey, do you have any well, when I was kind of keeping an eye on Wrack for a while, and like it's gone through so many stages. Like at first it was like Project Vega, and then it was Last Bastion, and now it's Wrack. From what I remember, like Last Bastion.
Tomorrow it'll be. No, I'm just kidding. What?
From what I remember, Last Bastion was supposed to be like a multiplayer thing, right?
I originally envisioned this as like a multiplayer only game. Yeah, I guess a little bit like Quake 3.
Yeah.
But I guess with like co-op. But yeah, and then I kind of wanted to do like single player / multiplayer because few people brought up that just multiplayer only would probably be a bad idea especially if you're small because like if you don't have a large player base then like finding other people to play with is a big problem. I mean honestly if it was single player and multiplayer right now like we'd probably still have that problem. Which is kind of why a lot of Wrack is just kind of building towards a more multiplayer focused Wrack 2. But anyway, yeah, it's so I mean I kind of did want to do like multiplayer and single player in this, but I mean kind of after a while like you just kind of realize like just doing the single player is going to take years and be incredibly expensive and intensive and all this like just trying to do more on top of it just isn't feasible. And I mean I think a lot of people think like just tack it on just do a little tweaking, what's the problem? But it's actually there is way more to it. And like just tweak it. Oh yeah, that's because that's like a weekend thing.
I actually prefer my games single player, so I'm with you all the way on that.
Yeah,
single player thing.
I think the multiplayer is the people who are really clamoring for that. I really think it's kind of a vocal minority.
Okay.
It's I don't think multiplayer is as popular as people think it is. And I mean, and this is coming from a guy who made a multiplayer oriented Doom source for it. But it's. I mean, most people aren't into chest thumping competition with strangers. I mean, they just aren't.
Thumping.
Yeah, and and playing with friends, so you gotta coordinate things. And I mean, a lot of people, especially older people, it's like they have schedules and families and jobs and careers and everything. And if you want to co-op with like random strangers, have fun with that.
Yeah.
It always sucks doing that with Doom. Well, not always, but a lot of times you run into a bunch of assholes,
Yeah.
Yeah. It sucks being an adult.
But it's like, I mean, even if you could like get in a TeamSpeak server with like the people who you're playing with, like it helps, but it's still not ideal.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so. I mean, I'm really happy like just getting like the single player, like just kind of really solidify that, and try and build a player base.
Yeah, no, I like that too.
Yeah.
Because like
same with the Torchlight did. So
yeah, there's so many games out there where they have like a single player campaign, but it's like 30 minutes long.
Right.
It's got like 6 levels, and like the most of the time you're watching cutscenes, and
it's just kind of a tutorial for multiplayer.
Yeah, and even that you don't even really learn enough from it to even be good in multiplayer.
Right. And I mean, the other thing I really want to be careful of, and yeah, I mean, you mentioned that kind of reminded me of this, but it's like I don't want to dilute, either the single player or multiplayer. Like anything I give people, like I want them to have like a great experience with it. Like I don't want to like put anything in that's like half-assed or diminished because like, oh well, we tried to do too much and we couldn't, get it all up to par, but yeah, I mean that's really something I want to avoid.
That's cool. I love that commitment.
Well, thank you.
Definitely. I know I'm the devil here, changing the subject, but I wanted to ask you a little bit about Skull Tag too.
Yeah.
Now, like, where did that come from? How did that start? What made you decide I'm going to make a source board for Doom?
Well, I mean, Skull Tag actually started like way back in the day. I mean, this was like, I don't know, like 1996, something like that.
Oh,
I had been playing like Doom 2, like vanilla Doom 2 multiplayer on a local BBS. Yeah, look them up, kids. But yeah, it was like basically like a service you dialed up with your modem.
Yeah, we got spooled on that.
Yeah.
Reading Masters of Doom.
Yeah.
yeah. That was like that same period of time. So it's like it was kind of like a shitty little like mini internet kind of thing. But it's like there would be other people and you could play with them. But anyway, these people like they made this WAD called Death Tag, and it was kind of similar to like what the Skull Tag multiplayer is. It was kind of it was instead of it being like capture the flag, it was more like a team based thing where it's like, you one person like infiltrates the enemy base, your teammate back in your base flips a switch to open a door. You go through that door, teleports you to like a little like obstacle course thing, where like the other team could go shoot at you. But if you completed that, then you get through, you get a point, and then it's kind of like the first to 5 wins. And like I thought that was pretty interesting.
That sounds cool.
I kind of wanted to do like my own little variant of it. Or it's I kind of want it to be like a like capture the flag, but with skulls, and like instead of bringing it back to your base, like you'd basically grab that skull and then go through the obstacle course instead of your teammate opening a switch to open a door in the enemy base. Blah blah.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a simpler version of that I thought had more flexibility. So it's like I did a WAD of that, which kind of worked in vanilla. It was fun, but I mean, eventually, like the BBS thing kind of died out, or I had college, or I don't know, whatever. But anyway, so and then kind of like after high school, like they released the source code to Doom. So like I kind of discovered Doom World and all that stuff. I think it was around like 98 or 99 or so. Actually, I think it was like 99, 2000. Anyway, but I kind of discovered like Doom World, and like, oh wow, like the Doom community is like, it's like still huge and thriving and popular. And then it's like they put out the source code for Doom like just after that, and I was like, it'd be fun to do like a like bring my Skull Tag thing back, and kind of like do like a really dedicated version of it. So I kind of wanted to just. Like I think Z-Doom was like introducing like modding at the time. I thought it'd be fun to kind of mod that in with like a whole bunch of other stuff. But so it kind of started off as like something kind of small, like that kind of WAD back in '96, and then as I kind of saw like more and more of the possibilities of like what Z-Doom was doing and what Doom Legacy was doing. I kind of started to have like way more ideas. Like, oh man, I could like add new weapons and like I could do all this other stuff. So yeah, I kind of started to like do the project at that point, and I couldn't find anyone to like do the programming for it. So I was kind of like, oh well, how hard can it be? And by the way, the answer was quite hard, but I kind of downloaded the source code and kind of tinkered with it, and I'd make like a slight change. Like I remember, like I think the first thing I did was like it's like Doom had those like green like little like marble pillars. It's like I think the first thing I did was like I added like a new gray one. Gray, woo. Yeah. I know how to go into paint and grayscale something. That's fancy. But anyway, so I kind of started to tinker around with it. Before long, I kind of had some basic modded stuff in. A lot of it was just like adding objects because like this was like before Decorate and stuff like that. So it's like kind of added new objects with like new behavior, like the grenades had quarter gravity instead of half gravity or whatever. But it just kind of grew from there, and eventually I think they put out the source to Quake World, and then like was it like I don't know if it was Fly. I think it might have been Fly, but he made CS Doom, and then put out the source code to that, and that's kind of what started, kind of the modern Skulltag. It's like I really wanted like that kind of multiplayer to be part of it, because it used to just be like the regular like Z Doom multiplayer, which is not very good. I mean, it's fine if you're all in like the same room, but over the internet, it's a little. Client server is a better model, but anyway, So yeah, I mean, just I don't know. I mean, things just kind of took off and grew from there. Really worked really hard on the multiplayer code for Skulltag. Just got everything like in super tip top shape and. Yeah, just wanted to have everything in it just be as high quality as possible, and eventually people kind of discovered it. And it kind of slowly took off.
Yeah, it shows. It's a really powerful port, even though it's Xandronym now, but it's Skulltag. It's still Skulltag to me.
Yeah, definitely. That's actually my Skulltag has been, and now it's Xandronym. It always has been my source port of choice. It's really. I feel like, and me and John talk about this sometimes. It encompasses everything. You can play, if you can play something on, any other source port, you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to play it on Skulltag, and that's cool. The universality of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean that's something I really set out for too in the beginning. But I mean this just kind of shows how like people will kind of pigeonhole you and just kind of overly simplify things, but a lot of people just kind of view Skulltag as a multiplayer port, so like they just use it for multiplayer, and then they use like Z-Doom for their single player stuff, and it's like, no, dude, Skulltag does all of that.
Yeah,
it's not multiplayer only. Like it's Z-Doom and then multiplayer. It's G-Z-Doom and then multiplayer. So I mean I use it for everything, and I just kind of I was kind of saddened when I heard that like people only use it for multiplayer. It's like, no, I actually
what are you doing?
Yeah, it works for single. It does everything GZ-Doom does too. And then it has some additional new single player stuff. So anyway, but yeah.
Hey, I use it single player. 99% of the time, I'm playing single player with Skulltag. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Now, how did it change? What happened? Why is it Xandronym now? What like?
Yeah, well, as you know, I've been working on this other thing called Wrack, but yeah, I mean, I kind of started working on that, 4 or 5 years ago, and I kind of left Skulltag to go work on that. So I wasn't really involved too much in the day-to-day kind of stuff and the upgrading and updating it and everything. And
so I spiraled out of control.
Yeah. I mean, really, I mean, that's kind of what happened. I kind of wanted to continue to, be the benevolent overlord of the community and everything. It's like I kind of built that up. It's like I enjoyed a lot of those people. I just met Shooter for the first time at a QuakeCon this past year. But I enjoyed that. I was very proud of what I had built up, and I don't know. I kind of, I don't know. But anyway, the guys who were working on it at the time, I think they thought they didn't have enough control over things. So I think they wanted to kind of have complete and total control over things. So I think they kind of, I think they probably got a little fed up with me, and they kind of packed up and went and started their own thing. Yeah, I mean it was totally, they were totally within their rights to use the source and everything, but I mean, as far as like the actual like skull tag like maps and stuff, like I did a lot of that, but then like a lot of other people did too, and like they kind of had my permission to use it in skull tag, like not necessarily like some other like source board or project. So
yeah, there's a bunch of gray areas.
Yeah, and it's like I wasn't cool with kind of I really tried to put my foot down and be like, hey, these other guys have done all this stuff, and you can't go use it without their permission, and all that. So yeah. So and that's kind of where we are now.
That's all right. Wrack's your new baby now.
Yeah. I've kind of let go of all of that, and I mean it kind of sucks how things went down, but I mean that's
life goes
how
on,
things go sometimes. Yeah. So I'm trying to move on. And no hard feelings or anything. I've talked to War Torn, who's part of Xandro, for the past couple of QuakeCons, and it's we get along, no hard feelings or anything. So
okay, cool.
Just happens.
Just happens, yeah. People grow apart, from projects and other people.
Yeah.
It happens. So.
Yeah.
Can I ask you? Do you
never? No.
What was the name
of the
show? What was the name of that WAD that Skulltag eventually or was based on? What was that first WAD called?
I mean, it was Death Tag, but
your version, I mean.
I can't find it. I wish I could.
Because I want it.
I do too. I seriously, I've looked like everywhere for it. I can't. I mean, maybe someone out there can find it somewhere in the ether, but it's from like '96 or something. I mean, there's a couple like original Skull Tag stuff from like 2001 or something, but that's not it. That's not it.
Maybe one of our listeners is hiding it on their hard drive.
I hope so. That'd be sweet.
I don't think our moms have computers, John.
You guys are probably born in '96, damn.
91, but
Oh yeah, asshole.
Close enough.
Pretty close.
But yeah, Wrack is the shit, and if anybody hasn't tried it yet, I would definitely recommend it. And it's
well, actually, they should probably wait until the beta comes out because that's like the really good version. Like, I mean, the version that's like out there right now, that's the alpha, and that's a little. It's not as good. So.
Oh, okay. Well, do you have?
I mean, it's like I still feel like the gameplay is like totally there and really really fun and everything, but like visually, like the beta is like tons better.
Oh, good. Do you have like a release date for it, or is it just kind of?
I mean, I keep hoping, it's like pretty much every time, it's like, oh, a couple of weeks, but and then couple weeks later, it's a couple of weeks, but I'm our poor Remco, he just had arm surgery, and he's going to be out for a few weeks, and there's a few more things he really wants to get done. And then I'm kind of waiting on Bobby to finish some sounds and some new music, and then the guys doing a new cover art, kind of waiting on that, and then and then once all that's done, they can get a trailer together, which might take a couple weeks. So it's making my brain melt just thinking about it. But yeah, it's hopefully pretty soon. Like as you guys can see, it's pretty much there.
Definitely.
We're just kind of waiting on a few more things. So
that's good, man. It's tons of fun, and I think some people are off put by the screenshots because it doesn't show a lot, but the whole time you're playing, you're not even paying attention because the game is just so fast, and it's so fun, and it's exciting, and I want to do everything I can to promote it, man. It's awesome. It's so much more. It's what I expected and more.
Awesome.
And,
wait, who could be put off by the screenshots though? Like that's the thing that drew me to it. I was like, these look fucking awesome. I want to play this.
Have you been on Doom World before?
Yeah, obviously.
I don't know. I think a lot of these people they just have high standards, and they play a lot of stuff, and they've become accustomed to certain styles and certain elements, and if they're lacking, they're just not gonna like it. It's they used to criticize it's too flat, and it's like, okay, well now it's not, but that was something they complained about before, whereas a lot of other people I don't think really had a problem with it.
Well, you can tell them all to kill themselves.
It's a lot of people were really into this thing, Retro Blazer, which I think I put on an alpha, about a year or two ago, and it's literally Wolfenstein 3D. It's completely flat, and you can't look up or down, despite it, being based on the Dark Places Quake source port. But then people still embrace that, but Doom World kind of ran the guy out of town, but it's I don't know.
That's another success story for Doom World. Sure, everybody's really proud of that.
I think it's a badge of honor to
shooting
them.
down all the newcomers.
Yeah, they've kind of done that with Wrack to a degree, but at the same time, I'm just kind of keeping quiet until I'm ready to get out there and share a lot of this with the world. So.
Yeah,
it's like I've actually hired a PR guy, and we should actually get some good publicity once this is all done and ready. So
yeah, some good exposure never hurts.
Only costs a small fortune, but it's fine. It should be well worth it. Huh?
Me and John will do it for free.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's good, man. I don't know. I keep saying that, but it's I play exclusively Doom. I play every time I look at videos and screenshots of other games. I'm just like, why would anybody want to make this?
Yeah.
Why are they doing this?
Yeah, especially when it's been done to death. It's
yeah. This is so fresh and new, and it's
yeah. It's like, wow, I'm so glad we have a 37th Halo. Yay!
Yeah. But
so glad COD 47's coming out. Yay!
Yeah, but I'm happy for Wrack, and I'm glad it's moving along. And
me too.
Thanks, man.
I'm excited for what the future entails for it.
Yeah, I'm kind of like I've said before. It's just coming from the world of Doom and just seeing everything that's made it just so awesome and continue to thrive to this day. Yeah, it's like I really want to do that same kind of stuff. And
yeah, that's exactly what we need.
Yeah. I just really want it to take off, and I just want people to I don't know. I just want people to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same with anyone.
That's all it boils down to.
Who makes anything? Yeah. If you're an artist, if you're a writer, if you're whatever, you just want people to enjoy, get into what you're making. And, enjoy it. That's. Really, that's what it all boils down to. It's. At the end of the day, I just want to entertain people. And that's why we're Final Boss Entertainment, instead of Final Boss Software.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, Brad. I'm glad you could be on our show with us, man.
Yes,
Well, thank
definitely.
you.
Yeah, you were a lot of fun. You ought to be on the show again sometime.
I'd love to be.
Nice. All right. Well, I guess that's World Extermination Radio. John Vail, John 40 Ounce Vail,
Tanner Splatterhouse West.
and Brad Carney.
It's been a pleasure, guys.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you.